City Commission meeting of March 3rd, 2026. Sherry, can you take a roll call, please?
Mayor Lewis. Here. Vice Mayor Lewis.
Here.
Commissioner Clark.
Here.
Commissioner Thomas.
Here.
Commissioner Dembinski.
Here.
Thank you. Reverend Bob? All the way in the back. So this is Reverend Bob from our Driving Christian Believers Invitation. Thank you.
Mayor, Commissioners, thanks for having me again. And I'll invite those who are able to stand for this invocation. Gracious and eternal God, we gather tonight as stewards of this beautiful community, mindful of your presence and your enduring grace. Even here in Florida, as the season of spring emerges, a time of new growth, renewal, and fresh beginnings emerges as well. And so we pause to give thanks for the gifts of life and the blessing of community. May the promise of new life we see all around us inspire us in our work and in our care for one another. As many visitors arrive for Bike Week festivities, we ask for your protection over all who travel our roads and fill our streets. Grant safety and compassion to residents and guests alike. Bless the efforts of our public safety officers and grant them your wisdom, strength, and the courage they need to do their work effectively. We thank you for their tireless efforts to keep our community secure and peaceful. Guide them with vigilance and bring them home safely to their families and loved ones at the end of each shift. We also lift up with deep concern those who serve our nation abroad. In a time of uncertainty and rising tensions in the Middle East where conflicts and hostilities persist, we pray especially for the safety and well-being of our service members and diplomats stationed far from home. Grant them courage in the face of danger, peace in moments of fear, and protection under your watchful care as events unfold in Iran and throughout the region. We pray for your abundant presence with those who have lost loved ones in the line of duty, comfort for families waiting and worrying, and for wisdom for leaders seeking paths toward peace. Bless the decisions now made here tonight. May our deliberations be guided by fairness, compassion, and a shared commitment to the flourishing of this city. Just as spring renews the earth, may our work together renew our community's spirit of home, neighborly concern, and hospitality. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Speaking of the Pledge of Allegiance, I have to tell you a story. Maddie and I yesterday were at R.J. Longstreet School reading to the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, and I asked each one of them, you know, how the art class comes in for the kids' art, and we always identify one student to do the Pledge of Allegiance, and there was one young fellow there. He said, "Mayor, I've done your Pledge of Allegiance," and others are asking, "How do I get to do that?" And it was just so wonderful. These are our future leaders of our city, our state, maybe even our country, and it was just so enthusiastic to see how excited they got about that. So we love when we have someone come and do the Pledge of Allegiance. So tonight we have ceremonial presentations and public notices. Just want to check on your agenda. So Sergeant Enrique Rosiano will not be able to be here tonight. He is ill. Also, item C, our annual audit report from James Moore and Company will be postponed until the April meeting. But I'm so glad to have our finance department here, led by our director, Lori Irwin. So I am going to read a proclamation. If you can all come up, we want to congratulate you on the wonderful job you do. Whereas the Florida Government Finance Officers Association, FGFOA, is a professional association founded in 1937 that serves more than 3,300 professionals from state, county, and city government, school districts, colleges, universities, special districts, and private firms. And whereas the FGFOA is a professional resource that provides opportunities through education, networking, leadership, and information. And whereas Government Finance Professionals Week is meant to recognize government finance professionals who provide a vital service to our state, county, and community. Whereas the City of Daytona Beach Shores finance professional work hard every day to ensure that our financial policies are followed and the processes in place are efficient. Whereas the City of Daytona Beach Shores finance professionals have a wide range of job responsibilities, including but not limited to processing invoices for payment, preparing financial statements, insurance compliance with legal regulations, and reviewing financial reports. And also our paychecks? That's not here, but whereas the city's financial professionals serving in the finance department reflect great credit upon the city and contribute greatly to ensuring the financial health of this organization. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this third day of March 2026, I extend my sincere appreciation and for our whole council to our finance professionals for their hard work and dedication. And we proclaim the week of March 16th to the 20th as Government Financial Professionals Week in the City of Daytona Beach Shores. Thank you so much. For those of you that don't know, our finance department is stellar. They just do a wonderful, wonderful job. As you can see, they run very, very lean, but they accomplish so much. And on top of that, I think our city manager has one other award that he'd like to give or notification.
Yeah, separate and above from that, I hope everyone can join me in congratulating Director Irwin and her staff for winning the impressive Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting from the Government Finance Officers Association. This award recognizes local governments that go beyond the minimum requirements of generally accepted accounting principles to prepare annual comprehensive financial reports that evidence the spirit of transparency and full disclosure. So I'd like to congratulate them on that award for their act for.
Thank you, City Manager. Lori, if you'd like to take this board, and I think Maddie has some pictures she wants to take. Maddie, do you want them right in front of us?
I would love right in front of
And also, we are a debt-free city.
Move over. All right, everybody. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Thank you so much.
Great job.
Thank you.
Okay, and as you're going over your agendas, the one other item, if you look to item F under new business, the requester has pulled out his request for this evening, so we will not be going over item F under new business. Thank you. Okay, next we're going to go approval of the minutes. So this would be our City Commission minutes from February 3rd, 2026. Do I hear a motion to accept those minutes as is?
Also move.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Any discussion on those minutes? If not, Sherry, can you take a vote, please? And we approve the minutes 5-0, thank you. Next, we're going to go on to a consent agenda. We do have 4 items on the consent agenda this evening. Do I hear a motion to accept the consent agenda as is, or is there an item we have to pull for discussion?
I'll move as is.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Yep. Any discussion whatsoever? If not, Sherry, take a roll on that, please. And that passed 5-0. We do not have any old business this evening, so we are going to go on to new business. This is ordinance 2026-01, a land development code amendment. Attorney Simons, can you read that for us, please?
Yes, it is an development code amendment to create a definition for wine bistro and add wine bistro as a permitted principal use in the GC2 retail service commercial development district and the GCRD general commercial redevelopment district. And again, that's ordinance 2026-01.
Thank you, Attorney. Ms. Hurstein?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Commissioners. Gwen Herstein, City Planner. After a request from current business owner Dawn Rogers from Coast Wine Company of 101 Dunlawton Boulevard, Ordinance 2026-01 assists with her request and really helps anyone who wants to conduct outdoor dining or any conditional use permit in the city of Daytona Beach Shores. We added a wine bistro through this ordinance, a definition for a wine bistro, a restaurant offering a selection for consumption on premises of wine, together with curated food pairings, education regarding the pairings and about the wine by formally trained staff, and also allows the retail sale of that wine, so for consumption, but also for bottle sale. We ask that this use be added to both the GCR zoning district and the GC2 zoning districts, and I've got a slide for each. GCRD basically runs from just north of City Hall to Van Avenue. I'm sorry, GCRD runs, that's the maroon colored properties, and it runs from on the west coast, the west side of A1A, from Fraser Road to Florida Shores Boulevard. So basically in the northwest quadrant of our city along A1A. And then GC2 runs from just north of City Hall to Van Avenue, and again picks up on the north side of Dunlawton Boulevard down to Phyllis Avenue. For this review, the consistency review, the land development code, the comprehensive plan, and the 2019 strategic plan were all adhered to and requirements were met for each. Staff has reviewed this ordinance and recommends approval. That's the Community Services Department, Public Safety Department, and our legal team. Staff is recommending approval of ordinance 2026-01 as presented. The Planning and Zoning Board did recommend their approval of this ordinance at the February 9th meeting.
Gwen, I have a couple questions. The planning and zoning, did it pass unanimously?
I believe it did.
Okay, thank you. And then one other thing, and I'm sorry I'm confused, but I know you'll set me straight. So when we talk about the end north of the city, so let me give you an example like Luna's. They already have outside dining. I know they serve beer and wine. Are they not already included in this, and they will be? Can you explain to me how they are able to do
So a wine bistro is more specific in that its primary focus is not simply food. In fact, 101 Dunlawton Boulevard's primary focus and the manner in which they opened was to offer specialty wines, organic and other types of bio-specific and biodiverse wines that she had so many people coming into her place, and if you haven't been, it's worth going, that said, if only you were able to serve here too, we could do more extensive, rather than just a little tasting, a more extensive, maybe a flight of wine, pair it with food, et cetera. And she had so many requests that it caused her to reach out to the city and say, what does the city think about this? And the city supported it and wanted to support her in that endeavor. So it's different because its main focus is not simply being a restaurant, but this would be an accentuation of what he's already doing, which is selling specialty wines.
And then across the street, would this affect that little strip plaza where Geneviese's is? Is that included in that?
It absolutely is, yes, and I can show you again. They're both in our GC2 district, the lower of the two boxes. Toward the top of the box, you see the dark red. That's Dunlawton Boulevard there, and so both sides of Dunlawton Boulevard would be allowed to add a wine bistro use.
Thank you. Any other questions for Gwen? Okay. If there's no other question, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak about ordinance 2026-01? I know no one signed up, but as always, I want to hear what you have to say. Okay, seeing none, do I hear a motion to accept ordinance 2026-01?
I so move.
Thank you. Second? Okay, any other discussion? If not, Sherry, can you take a vote on that, please? And that passed 5-0. Okay, next, we're going to go on to ordinance 2026-02. And if you could read that for Attorney Simons, but Gwen, I have to say, is this the same as when we're doing an annexation? There's things that build on top of each other that we need to do? Is that what?
I don't plan to repeat a single word, but both of these ordinances were required to fully meet Ms. Rogers' request. And we found that both of these sets of changes went above and beyond and were desirable to other people seeking outdoor dining, and anyone seeking a conditional use permit in general.
Thank you. Attorney Simons.
This is ordinance 2026-02, land development code amendment to streamline and clarify the application and approval requirements for conditional uses generally, and to streamline the application, approval, and renewal process for certain outdoor dining conditional uses.
Thank you. Ms. Hurstein?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Commissioners.
Excuse me. We're going to have the city attorney read the entire title. She kind of gave a synopsis.
Okay, thank you.
Pardon.
Thank you, City
Reading
Clerk.
the title from the agenda rather than the ordinance itself, if I may. This is an ordinance of the city of Daytona Beach Shores, Florida, relating to outdoor dining conditional uses, amending the municipal code of ordinances appendix G, land development code by amending section 14-58, entitled special exceptions and conditional uses to streamline and clarify the application and approval process requirements for conditional uses generally, and by amending section 14-58.2.1.a, entitled outdoor dining, to streamline the application, approval, and renewal process for certain outdoor dining conditional uses, providing for legislative findings and intent, providing for enforcement and penalties, providing for a savings provision, providing for codification, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Commissioners. Gordon Hurstein, City Planner. Basically, ordinance number 2026-02 will implement, if approved, it'll allow wine bistros to qualify for outdoor dining. It will provide it's going to streamline the application process for all conditional uses, not just outdoor dining. There are 5 conditional uses. It'll simplify the renewal process and remove the fee from that renewal. And it'll slightly ease the thresholds triggering non-administrative approval. So it'll slightly ease the requirement to come before the City Commission for approval, and which also triggers things like public notice requirements, which can get costly. And it will also slightly ease the parking requirements having to be fully considered when adding an outdoor dining, a smaller outdoor dining space. Again, consistency review, the land development code, the comprehensive plan, and the 2019 strategic plan have all been satisfied. All criteria have been met. Again, staff has reviewed this ordinance and its changes, and all departments who have reviewed it have shown approve of the changes. Staff is recommending approval of ordinance 2026-02 as presented, and the Planning and Zoning Board also recommends their approval, did so at their February 9th meeting.
Thank you, and again, I have one other question so I can understand it a little better. So a couple of years ago, I think we granted to Millie's the ability to have that little outside deck there. Are you saying that every year they had to come back for approval, and now they won't have to? Can you explain it to me, using that as an example?
Certainly. We have 2 outdoor dining spaces in the city, Millie's being one of them, that was authorized by development agreement. The other is Casual Bird, and they do not have to go through, they still have to meet the requirements that were set in said agreements, but they don't have to go through an annual approval. Everyone else who gets a certificate or a conditional use for outdoor dining has to renew every year. And the process has been streamlined through this, basically simplified. They do so now through through satisfying and submitting a checklist, which staff will also review. It's much simpler than them having to come up with how they're meeting all the requirements on their own. And again, we're removing the fee. The initial setup for any outdoor dining conditional use is the hardest part. Once you're doing that, any changes are typically minimal. But if they do make changes, they have to go back through the process if they're significant.
And I don't see anyone have any questions right now, but do we have any questions from anyone on our council commission? Okay, seeing none. Again, our audience, I do not have anyone that signed up to speak on this, but is there anyone that has anything that they want to say, any questions that they'd like to say on this ordinance 2026-02? If not, can I have a motion for ordinance 2026-02?
Also move. I'll second.
Okay, Sherry, can you take a vote, please? Thank you, Gwen. And this passed 5-0. Thank you. Okay, next, we are going to go on to item C. This is ordinance 2026-03. Attorney Simons, can you read that for us, please?
Yes, Mayor. Ordinance 2026-03, an ordinance of the City of Daytona Beach Shores, Florida, relating to general penalties for certain illegal activity, providing for an amendment to Section 1-8 of the City of Daytona Beach Shores Code of Ordinances with regard to the provision of penalties for violations of city code, providing for conflicts, providing for codification, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. And I am actually going to be the one who is explaining this ordinance, if I may. So what this ordinance does is it reflects Section 162.22 of Florida statute, which provides a mechanism for local municipalities to offer penalties for violation of local code through imprisonment in a municipal detention center for up to 60 days. That penalty did not currently exist under the existing code. It was currently just restricted to a fine, and so that left a gap in enforcement for violation of city code. This ordinance amends Section 1-8 to include the imprisonment for up to 60 days when appropriate for relevant violations of city code, so that that enforcement mechanism can exist.
Thank you. Did we have a gap previously until this?
Previously, there was no language that reflected the 60-day municipal imprisonment mechanism. That's correct.
Okay, does anyone in the audience have any comment on ordinance 2026-03? Don't see any speakers, so do I hear a motion to accept ordinance 2026-03?
Also move. I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Oh, first it was Thomas.
Vice Mayor actually.
Oh,
did the
Vice
motion.
Mayor, and then you were second?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Two male voices down here, sometimes it's hard to distinguish. Sherry, can you take a vote, please? Thank you, this passed 5-0. So next, we're going to go on to a resolution. It's 2026-01. I don't know how familiar you are. This is one of the county programs that we have. It's called Volusia Forever. So our PIO, Maddie, will be explaining it to us, and then we do have one guest speaker on it as well.
Madam Mayor, we'll let the city attorney read this.
Oh, I'm sorry, if you read the resolution.
Resolution number 2026-01, a resolution of the City of Daytona Beach Shores, Volusia County, Florida, in support of the continued operation of the Volusia Forever program for the purpose of preserving conservation lands, providing for transmittal, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you.
Good evening, Maddie McAllister, Community Information Coordinator. So I'm going to keep this really brief. This is my only slide for you all. I just wanted to talk about some specific metrics when it comes to the Volusia Forever program, and I think it's very important and it's very relevant. So this is a voter-approved initiative from the Volusia County Council. Voters approved to put 0.2 mil of tax money into this program since 2000. This was voted on in 2000 and again in 2020. In 2020, when this hit the ballots, the voters voted yes at a 75.6% yes approval. The conservation records are of 60,000 acres worth of land throughout Volusia County that have been put into conservation from 1986, and that's a combination of Volusia Forever and the Endangered Lands Program. So they both have a similar goal. They both protect the water recharge area, preserve wildlife habitat, and they are long-term sustainable, and they help cities with long-term sustainability. They protect the environmentally sensitive lands and ensure sufficient water supply for current and future residents. So that's a little bit about the program. The resolution that's in front of you this evening currently is in support of continued operation for the Volusia Forever program. That will conclude my presentation. I am available if you have any questions, though.
Thank you. Let's see what happens when we hear from our speaker this evening will be Suzanne Schreiber, if you'd like to come up.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. I'm Suzanne Schreiber. My organization is Green Green Volusia. We advocate in the state of Florida for funding at the state level, in Tallahassee for Florida Forever, and also matching funds for Volusia Forever, because it's a matching funds program for cities and for partners. So I'm sorry to the mayor, she's going to sit through. Part of this was delivered today at the council, but regardless. There's been discussion at the Volusia County Council meetings about Volusia Forever, specifically concerning perpetuity and why we have partners. In the year 2020, an impressive 75.6% of voters expressed strong support for the land conservation program, a percentage that exceeds the approval ratings of any current county council elected official and likely any of those in the past or future. In 2000, the initiative received 61.6%, which was still very high. With percentages this high, a reasonable assumption would be that many of you in the chamber tonight voted to tax yourselves in support of land conservation. The term Volusia Forever meant forever. It is worth noting that this is a willing sellers program providing landowners with options. There is a 25-year precedent of Volusia County never selling land acquired through the program, coupled with a proven track record of establishing strong partnerships, always with participation of county attorneys in these discussions. The benefits of land conservation are many: water quality improvement, flooding prevention, biodiversity, recreational opportunities, cultural preservation, agriculture, and more. Volusia County has been a leader for 25 years in land conservation in the state of Florida. The discussions could jeopardize our future partnerships and achievements. So we're calling on all elected officials to provide their unwavering support for perpetuity and partnerships with the 25-year Volusia Forever tradition. Thank you all.
Thank you, Suzanne. Hey, Maddie, if you'd step back up again.
I have a question.
Commissioner Dubinsky has a question.
Maddie, the young lady that was speaking, is she saying that the Volusia Commission or the Volusia Council is thinking about selling some of their Volusia Forever lands?
It has been a topic of discussion. There's been no decisions made as of yet.
Thank you.
Either Suzanne or Maddie can answer this. Do we vote on this every 5 years, 10 years? I heard that it comes back up for a vote every so often.
At the county level, it goes to voters every 20 years.
20, okay.
Yes.
And the last year was what?
2020.
2020, okay. And I think the reason that it's coming up right now from just coming to the county meetings, it's people maybe having a little bit different idea of what forever is, you know, perpetuity. And so if you listen for any of the county meetings, if you want to stick around for 7 hours and listen to the meeting, they'll explain it a little bit more. But thank you both for your very detailed explanation of what it was. So if anyone else in the audience wishes to speak on Volusia Forever? If not, do I hear a motion to accept the resolution in support of Volusia Forever? It's resolution 2026-01.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
If there's no other discussion, Sherry, can you take a vote, please? Thank you so much. We passed 5-0. Suzanne, thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Suzanne I've heard Suzanne speak several times on this. She has a real passion for it. Thank you for visiting with us today. Okay, next, we are going to go on to Resolution 2026-02. Attorney Simons, could you read that for us, please?
Yes, resolution number 2026-02, a resolution of the City of Daytona Beach Shores, Volusia County, Florida, adopting the 2025 Volusia County Multi-Jurisdictional Program for Public Information Plan, providing for implementing administrative actions, providing for a savings provision, conflicts, severability, and an effective date.
Thank you. Director Cruz?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Stuart Cruz, Community Service Director for the record. So this resolution, 2026-02, if adopted, will adopt the 2025 Volusia Multi-Jurisdictional Program for Public Information Plan. This is essentially a fancy way of saying it's a county-wide effort in which the local governments and the county within Volusia County have joined together to create a common outreach program in an effort to help not only reduce to the lowest possible number of the premiums for which property owners in Daytona Beach Shores and throughout Volusia County have to pay for flood insurance within special flood hazard areas, but to also reduce the impact of floods in special flood hazard areas. So we have been doing this every year for the last 5 years. It's a every 5-year renewal that we have to do. If we adopt this, our citizens will be able to receive up to a 25% discount on their flood insurance premiums if they purchase flood insurance for properties within the special flood hazard areas. If they're not within the special flood hazard area, they receive up to a 10% discount. I'm happy to answer any questions. Staff is recommending approval.
Okay, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on Resolution 2026-02? Okay, seeing none, do I hear a motion to accept Resolution 2026-02?
You go, Chris.
I'll
also move. And I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Sherry, can you take a roll, please?
We're waiting.
And that passed 5-0. Thank you. Alrighty, I have already said that item F has been pulled. Next, we'll go on to item G. This is a petition submitted by one of our residents, Mr. Groot. I don't see Mr. Groot here today, but is there anyone else reading on the agenda would like to talk about the petitions that he submitted? Not, do I hear a motion to accept these petitions? Okay, hearing no motion, we will go on. It died for lack of a motion. So next, we're going to go on to our city attorney's comments. Attorney Simons, what do you have for us this evening?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I do not have any comments for you this evening.
Okay, thank you for being here. Okay, next we'll go on to our city manager comments. City Manager Fowler, what do you have for us this evening?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to let you know that Director Swanson and his public safety staff are moving forward with its new canine program. These canines will be trained in drug detection and tracking of missing persons. Leveraging a relationship, Director Swanson was able to secure a private donation of $21,100 from the Hunter Foundation that's based in Ponce Inlet. And that money will go toward the purchase and training of one of the 2 dogs. In a moment, we'll have pictures of the 2 canines. Director Swanson went out and met the canines today. I'd like to also remind you that payment for the second canine, we received a burn grant last year. So we're receiving both these dogs and their training at no taxpayer cost.
Great.
We're very excited about this. And as you can see,
Along with Hunter.
they're adorable. They haven't met Hunter yet. They're still in training. I heard that they're not very interested in people. They are very ball driven, which is a good thing for working dogs. So next, we can leave those up because they're so cute if you don't mind. Next, the Brown Museum, formerly the Museum of Arts and Science, will close most of its facilities at the end of March to begin construction on a new $150 million building project, and it's expected to take approximately 3 years. The City of Daytona Beach Shores is pleased to announce its partnership with the Brown, and it will host some of the museum's programs once a month at the Shores Community Center during that construction. Happy to announce that the first program is Audubon in Florida, and that will take place on Tuesday, April 21st at 2 p.m. upstairs. The majority of the programs over this 3-year period will be free and open to the public, so that's a great enhancement of some of the services that we bring to the city. As a reminder, FDOT, after Bike Week, will resume its repaving of A1A. That is from just south of ISB all the way through the Shores and over the bridge to US 1. You may have noticed some additional paving. That's on our side streets. That's the City of Daytona Beach. They are currently in the process of doing side streets, so happy to see that. An inquiry came up about the utility box wrapping through FDOT. Director Cruz reached out, and we have found that that program has been suspended indefinitely, and we don't know whether it will resume. So we will not be moving forward with that. On the economic development front, I'd like to point out that the two ordinances that came before you tonight are a direct result of Commissioner Card and staff going out and visiting with our businesses. They went out, met with the Wine Bistro a couple of months ago, came back with some ideas that she had. Director Cruz and his staff were on it actually within an hour. He went down and the owner told me he spent an hour with her. So I'm very excited about that. We're going to go ahead and formalize those meetings. Staff is going to continue to do that. We're putting together a list of all of our businesses, and we will be visiting with all of those. And we're excited about Commissioner Card joining us on those. Also on the economic development front, we were sorry to see that we lost our dry cleaner. It's a service that the community definitely embraces. So as soon as we heard that they were closing business, staff worked with another dry cleaner to bring Diamond Cleaners to the city, and they're expected to open soon at the previous location from the other dry cleaner, 3060 South Atlantic, just past the Public Safety Building. I also want to bring you up to date. I'm sure you've seen that the House passed Joint Resolution 203 a couple of weeks ago. That calls for the end to all ad valorem taxes for homesteaded properties. To let you all know what the process is, because it's a joint resolution, the Senate has to pass the same resolution, and if they do, that will go on the ballot for voters for a constitutional amendment. That amendment has to pass, as all do, at 60%. I want to let you know what the impact of the current joint resolution would be on Daytona Beach Shores. It would take $2.2 million of revenue directly out of our budget. Our finance director, Lori Irwin, did a quick review today. To make up for that loss, we would have to do a 26.11% increase to our current mills, which would go from 4.588, as you know, we're in the lowest quartile right now, to 5.786 for all non-homesteaded properties, which of course covers not just the homes that aren't homesteaded, but all of our businesses as well. So this would have a huge impact on us. So I would encourage folks to reach out to their state senator and let them know what their feelings are regarding this resolution. Now is the time.
And right now, that would be, our state senator is Tom Wright, but also we have Senator Tom Leake that is very, very involved in Volusia County. I think his jurisdiction ends right at Ormond. We've had him previously, so that's somebody you want to reach out to, because as we've talked about before, all the amenities that we have in Daytona Beach Shores, everything we probably take for granted might go away. We'd have to make some hard decisions at that point.
So some of the other funding possibilities are a voted sales tax. Unfortunately, those monies are distributed by population. And although we may have up to 20,000 folks in town during a given day at 51, I think it's 5162 is our current population, we would not collect near the amount that is generated out of Daytona Beach Shores. The other idea that's been floated is revenue sharing through the state, which means you all would have to go to the state and ask them for additional funding. The same formula would most likely apply, and we would not be funded the same as other municipalities with a larger population.
One of the things that I'm worried about is the sales tax is that one of our industries in this area is tourism. And so that means when you do a sales tax, then it's distributed to everyone that's buying anything here. I can just imagine maybe somebody coming from an Ohio, Wisconsin, wherever you're coming from, if we have that high of a sales tax, would we just be stopping at the Georgia border, you know, and say, I'm not even gonna go into Florida because of that sales tax? I had one comment too. I think since and this is changing the subject, but he talked about Director Swanson. I think since the last time we've met, you have some news on Director Swanson. Can you share that with us, please?
Yes. After our last meeting, I appointed Director Swanson, our new Public Safety Director, so please join me in congratulating him. His official swearing in will be March 20th at 10 a.m.
And where will that take place, City Manager?
Right here.
Right here.
We're very excited.
Yes, please come by and congratulate him. Just when he thought he was going to retire and slide out, we brought him back in again. But if you've spoke with him, he has an extensive public safety background, 40-plus years. And we are just so thrilled to have him, and I think we've made him into a Daytona Beach Shores lover. Every conversation I've had with him, he's been just so happy here. I know that everyone that reports to him is very, very happy. So thank you again for accepting that position.
Thank you.
What other questions do we have for our city manager? Okay, if not, we're going to go on to commission comments. I'll start, and I do not have Director Maddox here to hand me the notes of what's going on, so I'm going to have to reach out to Maddie or the city manager. I believe we have food trucks. Is it March 27th? Maddie, do you know?
That's correct.
Okay, March 27th. Unfortunately, we had the battle of the food trucks on Saturday night. Do we have 4 or 5? We had 4 judges, and we roped Ed in. Because they were preparing for 5. But it was just fantastic food. We had a good time, but if you remember, Saturday was very, very cold and windy. Unfortunately, the food trucks didn't have the participation they would have liked. So let's hope for a nicer day on March 27th. Tomorrow, we will be having coffee with the mayor upstairs, and I believe our guests will be from the Brown. Is that correct?
Correct, Madam Mayor.
So of those of you that don't know, please come and see. So when it was the CC and Hyatt Museum, it has now turned into the Brown. And they have wonderful, wonderful plans. It's just going to put the Daytona area on the map. It's going to be one of a kind. So come by and they'll give us a little preview of it. Maddie, is there any other activities I'm missing?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right, and that is it. So we will go on to Commissioner Dubinsky.
I just listened to everything, and I'm thinking how lucky I am to live here in the city.
Thank you. Commissioner Card, thank you for the wonderful job you're doing in economic development. I saw pictures of you at our local Shores Resort and Spa. Can you tell us a little bit about how that turned out?
Yes, we did a visit and tour of the Shores Resort. Myself, Director Maddox, and PIO Maddie. We really stopped to ask them with their needs and wants, and he was just pleased that we even showed up and asked him. He didn't have too many things that he was looking for, other than he said he'd like to do on a Saturday a farmer's market in the adjacent parking lot. He said that's something that he thinks about. He doesn't know if it's possible, but he's trying to work on that. The other thing is, he said that with the new chef in there on Sunday and Monday nights, they're having prime rib nights, so if anybody likes the cow, prime rib is on board. Other thing is, I want to say thank you to the city staff for finding a way to say yes. That's one of the things that the city manager brings up, and it's starting to work. We're finding a way to say yes to some of these things in the city and getting them through, so that's awesome. One of the things that they asked also is above their walkover, they have, they wanted to know if it's possible to put up signage on there. Daytona Beach Shores, whatever it may be. So that's just something that I'm talking to the commission about. Maybe in the future, that's something we would want to use. It's basically their canvas. They own the walkover on A1A, but it would be something that we could put on there. Maybe they'll throw in some money towards the signage on it, but that's something that we can talk about in the future. Other than that, that is all.
And I think that came up one time previously, and to the best of my recollection, I don't think they were interested in any cost sharing. Is that correct, Director Cruz? Do you remember? I know you were around. Was it about 4 or 5 years ago?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I don't remember the details exactly, but staff has done some research and we have communicated with the Florida Department of Transportation and the different divisions within that department, and they are amenable to it if it's a city-initiated signage. So they do have some standards through their what's called Community Aesthetic Feature Program, the CAF program, and so we are doing some research, and it seems as if the pathway is there. So we just need to ensure that we go through the proper process and ensure that all the standards are met.
Okay, thank you. Speaking of the shores, Maddie, can you do some checking for us? Lori Larson and I saw something that next Wednesday, March 11th, I believe this, is that the Shores is having an event that I think it was 15% of any dinner that they come in and take that night would be donated back to R.J. Longstreet School. Check to see if that's correct, and maybe you can put something out, because again, as you remember, R.J. Longstreet is our adopted school. We do not have a school in this area, and sometimes they get forgotten about. They're in Daytona, but they're such a wonderful, wonderful school. The teachers that are there are awesome, and they so appreciate everything we do. So I would just like to announce that on March 11th, if we could contribute back to R.J. Longstreet, that would be wonderful. Thanks, Manny. Commissioner Economist?
Yes. I'm keeping tabs on the e-bike issue on sidewalks. The Senate just passed a bill about a week ago, I think it's SB 382, which obviously allows e-bikes on sidewalks, but they have to slow down to 10 miles an hour within 50 feet of a person or in pedestrian areas as well. Now that still seems kind of fast to me, but they're going to move that on to the House and we'll see what happens, but I would anticipate that would pass as well. So, but I'll keep tabs on it and I'll let you know.
Thank you. Any other updates from TPO?
No, that's pretty much, you know, as far as our area, that's pretty much it. So.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Vice Mayor?
I was going to ask Director Cruz, but you know, as we don't have jurisdiction on Peninsula, like between Florida Shores and let's say up to the back entrance of Publix, so who, if we could direct someone to contact the county if they're responsible for it, because a lot of the frost that we had with the real cold nights has destroyed a lot of those plants. Hopefully they'll come back, but there is a lot of debris and stuff, and I'm just fearful for people that walk, because I see a lot of walkers there, including me. Mel's in charge of the south side, I take care of the north side. That we can get someone at least to go and clean it up. You know, no disrespect, we have all kinds of ages. There's young kids, there's older people, and I would hate for someone, because sometimes they think we control it. And so if we can make a request, it'd be nice to see if they could go up and down there and clean up the debris.
I think currently that's a state highway. There's been talk.
Oh,
LPGA, correct me if I'm wrong, LPGA is a county street, and Peninsula is a state, and they're talking, but I think it's been talks for 2 or 3 years of swapping. Director Cruz, maybe you can add something on to that.
You're absolutely correct, Madam Mayor. And what we will do, Vice Mayor, is we will put in a ticket with the FDOT to have them come out and take a look while they still have jurisdiction over that road to essentially get rid of all the debris that you're referring to.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I think your fellow board member, Kaya, is Kaya
She
Powell.
is.
She's the one that you could ask too.
Yep.
Just thought I'd throw it out there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No?
Okay, thank you. All right, we're going to go on to audience comments, and we do have 2 speakers requesting today. The first one is Marty True.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Marty True. I'm a resident here in the Shores. I'm here tonight responding to the Vice Mayor's previous invitation at the January meeting, encouraging citizens to bring forward ideas regarding economic development, and I appreciate the opportunity to do so. Daytona Beach Shores has tremendous assets. Our oceanfront location, strong residential base, tourism flow, and a unique small city identity. At the same time, we continue to see long-term commercial vacancies and underutilized properties along key corridors. That represents more than empty storefronts and vacant lots. It represents unrealized tax base, fewer amenities for residents, and fewer reasons for visitors to stay and spend locally. I'd like to propose that the Commission consider forming a standing economic development committee, an advisory body comprised of a commissioner liaison, local business owners, property owners, and residents with relevant expertise, focused specifically on commercial activation and long-term strategic strategy. I recognize the city already has an economic development director, and I appreciate the work being done. My suggestion is not a replacement for that role, but a way to support and strengthen it. In many municipalities, advisory committees work in partnership with staff to expand capacity, provide continuity, and generate structured recommendations for the Commission's consideration. Economic development requires sustained focus. A committee creates a forum for ongoing analysis, recruitment strategy, vacancy review, and public-private collaboration without adding unnecessary bureaucracy. I would respectfully ask whether the Commission would consider directing staff to explore what such a committee might look like and bring back recommendations regarding structure and scope. Additionally, I would be interested to know whether the city's municipal code contains any provisions related to extended commercial vacancy, or whether that would require ordinance level discussion in the future. I'm not suggesting that property owners be penalized. Rather, I'd like to understand what tools the city currently has and how we can create incentives and conditions that make activation an obvious choice. I would also be happy to volunteer my time if the Commission feels that would be helpful. Thank you all for your time and your leadership.
Thank you, Mr. True. City Manager, which one of your staff would best reach out to Mr. True?
We can have Director Maddox reach out to him regarding that.
Thank you. Mr. True, Director Maddox heads up our economic development. She is out of town. I understand she'll be back in a couple of days, but somebody will be able to reach out to you. If you've left your name and number with our city clerk?
Yes,
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Madam Mayor, can I add that we are currently working with the Urban Land Institute to do an economic development TAP is what they call it. And there will be an opportunity during that for citizen input. So I would encourage not just you, sir, but everybody here. We will advertise that. Everyone will know in advance. Please attend. Please bring your ideas. We have an extremely talented citizenry here. I've had some folks come up and share some ideas with me, and it's very exciting what they've got. So we look forward to hearing what you have.
Thank you. And now Mr. Michael Johnson.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for letting me speak in front of your city council and mayor. My name is Michael Don Johnson. I live in an unincorporated area of Seminole County, but for the record, I am running for Congress as a Republican candidate in the Congressional District 7. What I want to bring to your attention today, and I've done this with other cities, I've seen you, Mayor, and other hearings and commission meetings, that we have a crisis in our area regarding ethics and morality with some of our politicians that represent us. just a week and a half ago, a federal judge issued a restraining order against a politician, ordering him not to sell, change, or transfer any of his assets around. And it's because there was another federal lawsuit up in Virginia where this person was sued for fraud, for conversion of money and taking down payment in the millions of dollars. And they worked out a consent agreement to pay back $8 million to a company over in Czech. The person didn't do that, so that's why the judge issued the restraining order. The contract was about ammunition that was being sold to Ukraine. And instead of selling the ammunition to that company, they sold it to another company, and that company ammunition was seized by the Customs and Border Protection Agency, which is now in DOD, and it's another federal lawsuit up in Virginia. In addition, this politician has a $66 million foreclosure lawsuit going on in Taylor County, Florida, up in Perry. $34 million of that lawsuit is interest not paid. This politician has been living a lavish lifestyle, pretending he was a multimillionaire, when in fact his company was shut down and people were sent home over Halloween and still haven't been paid for the last couple of weeks of their employment. In addition, this politician has defaulted several times on SBA loans that he had gotten years ago. The SBA did an investigation, found out he illegally obtained COVID PPP CARE Act loans also, and he was ordered to pay them back. And instead of paying back, he actually sued the SBA, lost at the federal district court in Virginia, and they also lost at the appeals court with the federal court up in Virginia. In addition, this individual has also used his congressional office to get his staff to forge a retired general's signature in order to get a Bronze Star gift that he got through the false testimony and false statements. When the soldiers that actually were named in the document said that he's lying, he's fraudulent, he never saved us, he never rescued us, he's lying, including his first sergeant of his company. The colonel that runs his battalion, Eric Nance, also said this guy did not do what he claimed in those documents. In addition, I think everyone knows in this audience here now who I'm talking about. It's your incumbent congressman. In Taylor County, he has restraining, not Taylor, but Columbia County has a 14-page restraining order for sex extortion. He also has an outstanding warrant right now that the federal attorney, Judge Jean, has a warrant in front of her to decide whether or not they want to arrest him for sexual assault for his mistress in Washington, D.C. Thank you very much. And sorry to bring you a sad day, but we got to be better politicians more closely and people who come into our community. And thank you. Great city. I love it. I love coming up here. It's a fantastic city. And God bless you all.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Great, Nancy. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next, we're going to do, no one else signed up to be a speaker, but as I always do, anyone else that would like to speak? So when you're done, if you just sign up in the back with your name and turn it into our clerk. Thank you for being here.
Hello, Mayor and Council. I'm Tracy Vega. I'm with the Port Orange South Daytona Chamber. I just wanted to say thank you to you guys for always being a huge support for the Chamber and our businesses. And just wanted to let you know, we really appreciate everything you guys do and everybody that participates. And just share with you, we got a couple events coming up in case anybody's interested. We got a morning mix and mingle over at the new Pet Evolution on Nova Road, which is going to be awesome from 8 to 9 a.m. We have a Women's Day celebration that's going to be at the Daytona Beach Toyota up at the Auto Mall. That's going to be on March 6th, starting at 11:30. They still have spaces open, but tickets are going fast. It's for men and women, so please feel free to sign up. They got an awesome panel that's going to be up there. And then we have a ribbon cutting at another new business in Port Orange at the Pavilion at Hot Works. That's going to be on March 5th. And then business after hours at Tiki Docks on March 19th from 5 to 7. If you guys can join us, we'd love having you there to connect with our new businesses, and we appreciate everything you do. And thank you so much for allowing me to speak.
You're welcome. Thank you. We love being part of the chamber.
Thank you.
Anyone else that wishes to speak? Okay, if not, what items do we have recommended for the next agenda? Okay, seeing